ran into some unforeseen problems. The idle is too high. It's idling about 1600, and that's on the warm idle, and it's not dropping down. Yeah, I have now fixed the choke. I didn't have a little spring on one of the restors for the fast idle cam, but so the choke now properly works. As you can see, it is set just like that. Now if I give throttle, it closes. So we have the choke finally working. Now everything else. Let's figure out, is it a vacuum leak, or more than likely, did I not properly seal the secondaries? That would be a bummer, but we gotta find out. So let's start it up and give it a shot. So as you hear, it's idling pretty high. Closing the choke does lower it. The bracket for the power steering is a little loose, so that's what that rattling noise is. It's getting kind of annoying. But so it runs a little lower when the choke is shut. So let's try backing the idle screw all the way off, and then we'll kick it onto off the fast idle. We'll put the choke all the way down, and if it still runs, that means vacuum leak or secondaries. But if we kick it off of the idle screw, it should die. Choke is all the way down. And that's still idling pretty high, so. Now to rule out it's a giant PCV leak, I just plugged the PCV hose, both sides. So let's give it a go. Still high. So more than likely, the blades, the secondary throttle blades, are not shutting properly. In order to solve this as quick as possible, I'm just going to throw on the carb from my Corvette. It's the same 4-barrel Quadrajet. That will tell me right away if it's an issue with the carburetor or vacuum leak, but I don't think it's a vacuum leak. I think it is the carb. So I think I messed up on the rebuild. But, you know, let's just throw the carb on. Alright, this is the carb from the 79 Corvette. Slapped it on here. I have just a lot of the hoses just kind of plugged off to just eliminate the chances of vacuum leaks and just make it as simple as possible to put on. But yeah, let's start it up. I have high hopes, even though it's unfortunate. Alright, no gas in the carb, so this will take a few cranks. Or it will start immediately. Better. Now if you remember, my Corvette, it has a high idle, and I've diagnosed that to just be, I need to bend the choke rod a little bit. So and if I close it, it will stall out, which is exactly what's supposed to happen. Oh, we got a little fuel leak. I'm gonna shut it off. And just for some satisfaction, I tuned this carburetor to this truck. Roughly, I didn't do anything too crazy. All I did was just turn the idle screw down a little bit because I have it up a bit on the Corvette. But took it down 3 turns. We're still contacting. The engine's still running. Now the spring that's on the truck is different than the spring that's on the Corvette. So the linkages are just a little different. So right now it's tugging on the throttle blade just a little bit. But we are idling at 980, which is reasonable. I mean, I can still tune it farther. Like I said, we're still touching the idle stop screws, so we can go down more. So that means the intake manifold is sealing. Glad. That would have been a bummer if I messed that up, but nope, looks like I don't have any vacuum leaks. Looks like we're sealing. And this truck can actually be driven like this, but let's go rebuild and fix our mistakes that we made with this truck's original carburetor. Okay, over here in my messy workbench, so I took the base plate apart, or I took the base plate off of the carburetor that was on the Corvette. This is the one that I just had running on the truck. And when we hold this one up to the light, you can see hardly any light at all get through on the secondaries. A little bit on the sides, which is normal. And then also there was a little bit up here and up in the corners. So that's the ideal of how much light you want through. Now this is the best I was able to get this. You see a little light down there and a little light in the corner. This right side is a lot better, but the left one has a little bit more of an opening. This is definitely sealing a whole lot better than it was before, so yeah. Oh, and also, red Loctite your screws. You don't want those going off. Alright, got the car back on the truck. We are all set. So let's give this a start up and see how we do. A pump or two. There we go. So that's the fast idle. That means the fast idle probably needs to come up. It should be more like 12, maybe 1600 on the initial cold start. But hey, we brought the idle down, which was the important thing. But we'll let this warm up. We'll see how it runs off the choke. So almost off the choke, and we are idling 750. That is perfect. So we did fix the issue. My secondaries weren't lined up, and it turns out, I don't know if I mentioned it, but when I drilled out the old screws and put oversized screws in, the holes in the secondaries needed to be oval out a little bit to accommodate for the bigger screws, to give you that little adjustability that there was from the factory. So that's all it was. Once I ovaled the holes out, I was able to seal it up much better, as you saw when I showed you how much light was coming through now that it was fixed. But yeah, we are good. That's going to be it for this. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.